last month, Cyclone Gita slammed the South Pacific, packing winds of up to 145 miles an hour. If you can imagine, one of the hardest hit was the tiny island nation of Tonga. Now, Western Washington's South Pacific community is rallying together to help Tongans recover and rebuild. Here with more about a relief drive that's happening this weekend, please welcome Sharon and Nuki Hangana and Angela Mose. It's good to have you both here.
Thank you.
You know, it's tough when we have places that are so far away, most people don't even know where they are, and then something happens. Tell me, both of you, about your ties to Tonga.
Well, my ties to Tonga is my parents are both still there, and so is my daughter. So they were there while the hurricane hits, and wow. it was just heartbreaking to hear my daughter and how her experience within the cyclone.
What did she say?
She said that because my father is a town officer there, kind of like a mayor in his village. He had to go prepare for the village. Most of them, they didn't have funds to board up their house, so all of them kind of migrated and stayed into the LDS church there. So he went back home and boarded up their house. She said all the sounds of the noise, the winds blowing, and just all the disaster after.
Right.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about the extent of the damage?
It's pretty significant. If you think about it, the population of Tonga is just a little over 107,000 people. And the land itself covers, I think, 300 miles, but it's a scattering of land throughout 200,000 miles of water. Wow. So Tonga's made up of several little islands. My grandfather extends from the island of Nafuvava'u, which is an island off of the main island. And he is a great composer. He was a reverend here in Seattle starting in '75, Reverend Steveni Fonua. So he's a music composer, and my uncle Ni Fonua, as well as my cousin George Bartos, were actually out in Tonga during the same time. What hit us hard is, of course, social media, so he had access to social media, and he sends us an email that read, "We were told to reach out to our families in case this was the last opportunity for us to reach out to you." Oh. And so, of course, we all hold our breath. The evening passes, and then we get the indication that they're fine. His mom reaches out to us and says they're fine, but by this point, roofs are blown off homes. People are, I think Sharon has a few small statistics, but I think 4,500 without homes. There were only 2 deaths, which is super significant. I like to think because we're a huge island of faith that we were watched over for the most part, but the damage was significant enough to have, I think, with us being on the Pacific Rim, Washington State, a lot of descendants are here from the Pacific Islands, and enough for efforts along California. I know of a few people gathering things, enough for Sharon to say, hey, here in the Pacific Northwest, let's get our families together and see what we can do.
And recovery is tough. I mean, let's face it, we've seen this with Puerto Rico, and Tonga's even farther away, and it's not like we can all just go to Home Depot and then drive things over. It's a big deal to try to help the recovery. So tell me a bit about the event.
First off, I'd like to thank the company I work for. It's El Dorado West of Village Concepts, and big shout out to our executive director, Lori Crow here, who approved.
Is Lori here in the audience? Hi, thank you.
Hey, Lori.
Let's thank you directly while you're here.
She approved for our company to sponsor the location where the drive will be. It'll be this Saturday, March 10th, starting at 10 a.m. We have.
And where is it?
In Berrien, El Dorado West. Yeah, in Berrien. I'm working really close with Red Cross in Tonga. Sione Taufonua is the Secretary General, and he sent a list, which I post out on the flyer. They're basically looking for water, medical supplies, food, and
we'll put the list out. In fact, I think the list is already up on the internet. And I'm so glad you did that, because sometimes in disasters people just send whatever. But when we know specifically what's needed, it's really best if we can stick to that list, make donations, and make sure that there's somebody who can use and receive these items on the other end. So I'm glad that you're doing that so specifically. Tell us a little bit about what you expect the recovery to be like. There are 100,000 people there. It seems like our efforts could make a big difference. We're not trying to, fix things for 7 million people.
Sure. And what Sharon said, and that's kind of why I touched on the population, because sometimes we're a little leery. We donate money, we donate items, and we're like, okay, where does this go? Does this go to the president's personal food storage? You just never know. Because Sharon received Tonga Red Cross's support, we're a very few that have. We know that that is going to be a direct donation to the families of Tonga. Some of the efforts there, we are in contact with, again, like Nifonua down there, he's doing 20 homes in 20 weeks, and there was a write-up about him. But also, we know that these efforts, because the population is small, it's not like it's going to one small area. If you ever fly into Tonga, the airport is this size. And so...
so the point is we can make a big difference with this. Thank you both so very much. The Tonga Relief Donation Drive takes place this Saturday, March 10th. Gosh, is it March 10th already? Yeah. Beginning at 10 in the morning at El Dorado West in Burien. We've linked all the information on New Day's website, as well as the donated items that are needed and ways you can help. We'll be right back. Thank you both.